It was Women's Day last Wednesday, and Uganda is not short of powerful women leaders in all areas. My guest today is a senior member of the NRM party, one who's seen it all. She worked closely with Yoweri Museveni in the Bush War and with President Museveni in State House, also seen as an iron lady sometimes, and an excellent organizer. She's a senior leader in the party and also past treasurer. I am Oscar Semoyam-Soke. Welcome to Face Off, Honorable Amelia Kyambadde, Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives.
Thank you.
You're the longest serving Principal Private Secretary of President Museveni,
Right.
even if we don't count the Bush years. What prompted you to leave such a cushy, comfortable position that accorded you so much power?
Allow me to take you back just a
Yeah.
few years. I started working for President Museveni in 79 when he was a Minister of
That
Defense.
long ago.
Yes. We went on to Regional Corporation and Military Commission, and I was working as his secretary. And in 80, after elections, I was a member, we were the few members of UPM, Uganda Patriotic Movement, and I was working for him both as chairman of UPM, but also as a minister at that time of, it was in the Military Commission. So after that, after elections, of course, there was that conflict or the turmoil of people going into the bush, and some of us went for the external services, and I was in the external branch, Scandinavia, with Mr. Kyambadde and many other Ugandans. And
Mr. Kyambadde, your husband.
my husband,
Yeah.
but we had people like Honorable Rugunda, Honorable Mbabazi, who were living in Sweden with us, and we were doing Scandinavia. And the lady was an ambassador, Ambassador Sempala, Edith Sempala. So we managed to form the external branch, Scandinavia. But as the war waged on in Luwero,
Yeah.
the president came, he was now a guerrilla fighter, came to Sweden and reorganized us as an external branch, and then eventually managed to come back. In 86, I was called back. And when I came back...
And I know those stories.
Yes,
You can
I
tell
came
another
back.
time.
Yes.
But did
So I
you
became a
feel you were
PPS.
going to win at that time? Were you fighting a losing battle?
It was very hard because
Yeah.
at that time, there was so much confusion in the country that it was difficult to believe that NRA was going to win that war, because we didn't even have sufficient support. Well, we managed to talk to some of these countries to support us, like Scandinavia came on board, but it wasn't sufficient. But in 86, when I came back, I continued working. I must admit, it was very difficult for me to accept to come back, because I think I was getting a bit comfortable. But then also, the children were in school. But I came back and continued working. I didn't work as a PPS straight away.
Because that's what I was going to ask.
No.
Were you in a formal job then?
No. When I came back, I was working as a private secretary, but I kept upgrading myself. And qualifications.
Yeah.
And when I did my MBA, that's when I was promoted to the level of PPS.
Yeah. And some people saw you as a very hard PPS. I recall one time past President Binaisa complaining that Amelia Kyambadde is such an iron woman. To be able to see the president, it requires hard work.
No, I felt that, first of all, I felt that not everybody needed to see the president over some of these issues. For example, like ministers, I felt, and that's the training I had got, that ministers were supposed to see the prime minister, because the prime minister was the head of government business. And when it came to politics, we were supposed to see the vice chairman or the secretary general of the party. That is party politics. So every section or every sector
would have a head.
Would have a head.
And
that's
that would
why
be
they
the
were
right
there.
way of doing things.
And I thought that the president needed time to think out policies, to design policies, to follow up on issues, especially of security. At that time, security was not very stable, and he needed more time to work on such issues.
But whereas you were seen as a good organizer, it did disturb some people. They
oh yes,
thought they should
and I made a lot of enemies.
You did, yes.
Yes, I made a lot of enemies during that time, but I would have their problems solved. I thought that I would have them solved, but of course it created a lot of animosity amongst the public and public members.
Did you recall the actual time when former President Binais actually complained? Because I think it was in some kind of public forum that just to get past Amelia Kyambadde is really tough.
Yes, I remember that, but at that time I was not even a PPS. At that time, the PPS was Hilda Museveni. But of course, people knew me because I used to do a lot of running around, and I used to take action on most of the issues. Yes. So
and you were seen as a good organizer because some of that time when you're there, the president is known to have been punctual to some events.
Yes.
Or would say to many events.
Yes, I tried very, very hard. I must admit that the time I had known the president, at least I knew when to handle certain situations, how to guide, how to, because, and then I had a lot of respect for him, but not fear, which is very common now amongst the people who work for him, that they fear him. But I respected him. So it was slightly easier for me to organize programs for him, because sometimes I would know how he would react to certain situations, how he would respond to certain issues. Because
and when to present an issue, when to hold on to something. And to be fair, I would say the people that have been in your job, because these days there's been a lot of accusation on tribalism, that the president's tribe has taken over everything. But that position has mostly been occupied by people who are not the president's tribe.
That position, when you look back, because when you look at
by Grace,
no,
but
we could start from Serwanga Lwanga, then Hilda Musubira, then of course Grace Akelo, then Amajo, then now this lady, and myself in between after Hilda. So I don't think really it's more of a tribal job, really. I don't think so.
It was straightforward meritocracy.
But you asked me a question, why did I resign?
Before you, even since you brought in the angle of the background, what about children? I've seen State House children. It has been very difficult for them. I'm sure you say you would not like to comment on Audrey Kurabogo's media troubles lately, but having had children growing up in that time, you know, it's not a kind of stigma, but it is like they are accused of being protected and so on and so forth. Are they denied any chances? Should they express their opinions?
Well, I think they're also Ugandans. They should be able to express their opinions, but it depends, because it's a very complicated situation where you have a president who's your father. It's like being in a business and the chairperson of the business is your father and you're a worker. So there's definitely bound to be
perception issues.
Issues. You just have to try very hard to. Yes.
But on the question of resigning, did you resign or saw out your contract?
I actually resigned. I retired to go into politics, but it is something I had been nurturing for some time. After working in State House for all those years, I realized that I had, in my view, I started giving off diminishing returns because I realized there were so many powerful people around me, so many power centers around me. Before, I was the center and I would take decisions. But I realized that there are other power centers that were coming in. And once you take a decision and say the program is going to be like this, then someone comes in and says, no, we have another program here. So, and I'm sure that is what is happening now. So it would confuse the entire setup, the entire program, because the principal would think, oh, they gave me a program last night. Then in the morning it calls, there's another program here. You find out fitting it in. So you find yourselves working from 8 o'clock in the morning until midnight because you have to fit in even the other lot. And at the end of the day, it's a reflection on your performance. It becomes very negative because it seems you cannot balance out all these issues and you cannot complain because some of these people are very close to the family. So family was also one of the reasons that I felt that I could not really fight with or work against. That is one. Two, I realized
were they
that
one of the power centers? So, for example, you'd have had...
yeah, they contributed.
They contributed.
They contributed. Because if one of the sons or son-in-laws wants to bring in some businessmen, you can't say no. And the norm was, if you're bringing somebody for an appointment, you must find out why, and you must try to look for a solution in the public, yes.
And why it should
a solution and guide the president. Well, sometimes you'd say, no, they don't have to see the president. Why don't they see the Minister of Trade or the Minister of Finance? So now, that one, I became very unpopular over that. I realized that I couldn't do that anymore because people thought you're being curious, inquisitive. You don't have to know. You're just a worker, So that one, I just felt I just couldn't continue. It was very hard.
But in resigning, were you able to tell the president that these are the reasons I've given up? I'm struggling. There's more than one power center.
Let me list the reasons first. Yeah. And the second reason, I realized my children were growing up and I had not had enough time with them. I realized they were becoming teenagers, adolescents.
You're Minister of Trade now.
Yes.
It's not that you found a lot more time?
No, but it's easier now. I can balance out.
Okay.
Now I can spend a weekend with them. I'm there for their birthdays, for their functions. It's not as bad. But this was impossible. Because when there is a function here, you're supposed to be in Gulu, you're supposed to be in India, you're supposed to be wherever the president is. Because you're the principal, you're the chief of staff, of his staff. So that is true. I felt that my children are becoming adolescents, and I felt I was losing them. I couldn't communicate fully with them. Just seeing them in school once in a while, I was a rare species there. So
they grew up well.
But they grew up well. You took care of them. But I realized that it wasn't going to work out. So that is two children. Then 3. I realized that 1 was power centers, 2 the children, family, and 3 it was a lot of work, and it really had a heavy toll on me, mentally, physically. I just felt I just couldn't take it anymore, because it is something I had done at that time, something I'd done for almost 20 years or so. Because when you consider from 86 up to 2009, because I quit in 2010. Yeah. So I realized I just couldn't go on. So those were the 3 main reasons.
Let's talk for a break, and after the break, we'll pick it up from there.
Yes.
Thank you for watching NBS Face Off. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke. Welcome back to MBS Face Off. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke, and my guest this evening is the Honorable Amelia Kyambadde, Minister. Amelia, then second time round, you thought you'd made up with Mutuluza somehow, and you thought it was all plain sailing until Grace Kansime and Dr. Tanga Odoi. Only Dr. Tanga Odoi, you were seen exchanging heated words in public. Maybe not so good.
Not in public. We're just the two of us in the office. But then we went to the media.
Yes. We went to the media and we found out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, first of all, I won my elections very successfully the first time. I got about 69%. And at that time, Honorable Mutuluza, I think, got 40 something. That was the first time. We had other representatives who got nothing.
Yeah.
And I must admit, he had a lot of support amongst the Catholics, the Catholic community, and of course some ethnic support.
Yeah.
And of course, I worked a lot in that area. And second term, I was deliberating quitting politics and
One-term MP.
yes, but I was put under a lot of pressure by my people. By the people, we always say that, politicians always say that.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the people. Okay, so I got a bit of pressure, and I said, okay, let me do the second term. And the thing is, I had made so many pledges with that, which had not fulfilled yet. So I said, there's no point in living now
and you could
and
say
leave all
now
this
on
undone.
national television
Yes.
that you'd not stand a third time.
Let me finish this.
Okay.
And so now, so this time around, Honorable Mutuluza said he was going to stand for chairpersonship. And he had thought about coming back, but then, you know, sometimes our voters, they move from one to one and others.
Yeah.
So they could have advised him. And now he's an LC5 chairperson. And we work closely together. So all of a sudden, poof, someone pops up. Someone we hadn't even thought about. And
I guess nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong.
Say you know everyone in the
No.
constituency.
You don't have to say that. So it was Grace Kansime, but she doesn't live there. She had managed to to hire a house and all that. So she came in.
So it is factual. She doesn't live there.
No, she doesn't.
Right.
She doesn't live there. So she came in, but that was no problem in the beginning. Of course, the media were all over her. Everybody was all over her.
And it is said Dr. Hildeman, that was the second betrayal. He wanted to sing a song for her.
I heard about that. He made a confession. But of course, they all want money because after composing a song for you, you're not going to pay him more. So
he's a free spirit.
yes, he's a free spirit. So I wasn't very angry with him. Of course, I was a bit upset. And but then I realized, of course, politics is all about competition. So Kansime comes in and she's all over the media. She's in all these media houses. And I realized she had come through Church of Uganda. She had come through Church of Uganda. She had come to sell land. She was an agent of their land. They have land in our area, Church of Uganda's land. And that was the first betrayal. I said, I'm Church of Uganda. How can Church of Uganda impose someone on me? Because she declared her interest immediately. I said, why? But I was very popular amongst the Catholics and Muslims because I'd done a lot of things for them. So that was the first betrayal.
But how would you verify it was Church of Uganda promoting her?
We had a bishop, Bishop Buganda, yes, who was working with her closely. But they did not come. She came in and said she was supported by Church of Uganda. First, she said she was supported by Church of Uganda. And they did not issue any disclaimer. And they were working closely with her, the selling of that land, but that is okay. Then the second time, but you could see even in some churches, you know, these are also power centers.
Yeah.
These priests, when they're preaching.
The pastors.
Yeah, the pastors. Well, no, pastors Barokore now were for me.
Yeah.
But now this is Church of Uganda. So you'd hear sometimes the Reverend making some funny comments that would say, oh, you know, Tina Omulana Wano, you know, things like that. We have somebody else. So that one was the first betrayal. Second betrayal, Secretariat, NRM. I kept complaining, telling them, this person, you want us to register people who reside in our areas, because they give us guidelines. Now that is registration. This person was not residing there. Okay, she had had some house which she was trying to finish off, but she wasn't residing there. So I tried.
And whenever a register is out,
yes,
the electorate, we are asked to verify by looking at the list.
Church LC1.
Yeah.
From LC1. So LC1 said, we don't know her. She doesn't live here. But Secretariat said, no, let's register. So one thing that shocked me, now the second form of betrayal, I had gone for the Ministers of Trade conference in Belgium, in Brussels, sorry. And I heard that they were coming to tell our people that we must register that particular lady. But they said they were organizing a meeting with all of us, NRM cream in PG district. So I called them.
Saying the Secretariat.
Secretary General.
Right.
The lady. And I say, please give me one more day. I'm about to come back. Because I'm the chairperson of the movement in that area. Please allow me to be there.
To convene the meeting.
Yes, to convene the meeting for you. They went ahead, had a meeting, told them all, you know. And to make things worse, they went straight to where Grace is alleged to come from. Said, now we must register her and all that. So they went to her place. But along the way, I had people just shouting them down. No, she doesn't reside here. No, that. Anyway, they went. They found a half-finished house. And they came back. And they said, even if there is land, or even if there is what?
That is fenced off.
That shows that that person resides. So that's when Odoye, he called me and told me that and told me off and said, you people, this person must be registered. Of course, I was a bit upset. First of all, for them to come when I'm not around. I'm the chairperson of the party. Two, to go.
And this is within your own party?
Yes, within my own party. That was another form of betrayal.
Yeah.
So anyway, of course, you had the quarrels. We argued, we quarreled, we disagreed. But the people say, don't worry, we are there. So what I did, I concentrated on the ground.
Yeah.
And for these people were in the media.
Won the vote.
Yes, and won the vote. This time I got 67.9%.
Not far from what you'd gotten before.
But she got 4,000 votes. Oh no, 67%. In votes I got 29,000 votes. She got 4,000 votes, and there are some others in between. So betrayal, I think, is going to kill our party. I mean,
the NRM party. I'm coming back to the NRM party shortly. Then after the election, the first election, you're straight into cabinet, Minister of Trade. It is this second time round that a few more titles have been added on, industry and cooperatives. Apart from being...
it was still the same.
It was still the same.
Yes.
But the position, what changed?
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. So you've still had the same position. Coming in straight away, cabinet minister, powerful docket, trade, responsible for the country's money. But we're having a problem, and not many people in government are saying it. The first one, failure to recognize that we really do not have anything, a lot that we can export. We depend a lot on tax from imported goods. Liberalization is not succeeding. We seem to have confused policies. I've interviewed CEO of chemical industries, Emmanuel Katongole, and he says he had to close a rice factory because we don't practice protectionism that Kenya and Rwanda do, and it's a problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is true, when I came into that ministry, I realized that we had a lot of work to do, especially as far as some of the policies were concerned. Especially, no, the main issue was balancing trade. I realized there was such an imbalance
between exports and
exports and
imports.
And imports. And all this is attributed to the fact that when you're importing, definitely you're importing machinery and equipment. There is growth. There could be a slight growth in industrialization, if at all. Secondly is value addition. But it all goes back to the credit facilities. Do we have sufficient credit facilities to be able to empower our Ugandans to process goods, to add value to their goods so that we're able to export? Thirdly, this phenomenon of thinking that it's only foreign investors, who can do business here, is a challenge. Because when they do business here, they take out their money. Inevitably. Whereas this Ugandan will definitely ensure that he invests or reinvests into the project. So we have to change that mindset. That is only foreign investors. But then it goes back also to Ugandans. Business ethics. How are our business ethics? Are we able to do business sufficiently? Once I start a business and start making money, the next thing I'm doing is I'm buying fast cars. I withdraw all my capital. My lifestyle changes. Buy fast cars, marry women, build houses, and all this is money. Money that is supposed to be reinvested. And they're not very few.
I'm saying they're the few that have that access, that are able to do that. Let's stop for a break. And after the break, I'd like to ask you how, for example, you look at Donald Trump and he says, make America great again.
And then we're saying boo-boo.
Protectionism and so on and so forth. So what can a Ugandan say that Amelia Kyambadde is helping me with in building my business? Thank you for watching NBS Face Off. Welcome back to NBS Face Off. I'm Oscar Semayamsoke, and my guest this evening is the Honorable Amelia Kyambadde, Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. So I just wanted to ask you, as we concluded, what exactly did you tell the President when you were resigning?
I have a fourth point, which is the most important one.
Yes.
When I was about 8 years, they'd just taken me to Gayaza. I realized there were people who were underprivileged and some who were privileged. And I remember I used to give out all my things because I knew I'd replenish mine. So I vowed after that I would work for the underprivileged. And it is a vow that had been nourishing throughout the years, and I was helping a lot of people in the course of my life. But at this time, I realized that I must find a way of helping people again, like I had committed when I was a young girl. So I started an organization called Twezimbe. And but while I was still working there, but someone told me, this Twezimbe thing is going to conflict with your work. You are PPS, but you're getting support from people to support Twezimbe. That's a conflict of interest. So you have to choose which way you want to go.
Because people would then
misunderstand you, that will donate to you.
Say you've coerced them into the donation.
We live alone coercing, corruption.
Yeah.
You know, they would want a favor from you, a PPS, even though you have Twezimbe, but you're a PPS, they would donate to you because of the nature of your job.
Yeah.
So someone advised me, you have to choose either you go for supporting the people, and or you remain in this office. And at that time, I was so engrossed in supporting people, especially women. I realized in our area that women were suffering, the maternities were not there, the whole system had collapsed. So I said, no, I'll go for this. So those are my 4 points. So I sat down and told the principal about it. But I started with the last one. The situation is bad. I've started this organization.
The president.
Yes, the president. I've started this organization called Twezimbe. That I thought was the most powerful statement of all that would convince him to allow me to go. So I started with Twezimbe. And I thought, oh, it's going to impress him. And he'll say, okay, just go. And he said, no, that one, we can always help you. We can always find a way of helping that Twezimbe, that's no problem. So that one didn't work. Yeah. So I went backwards. But you have to bring it out in doses. Yeah. You don't just do it at a go. I brought it up after about 6 months. Oh. I brought out another bit of power centers. Yeah. Because I could see...
That's the one I've been waiting for.
Yes, because I could see it had started affecting my work. You have organized, we are going here. Organized, you are meeting so and so. I realized I was just pushing in people without briefs. And I used to make my briefs and make recommendations. And I realized I had no control.
And for us in the public domain, we always think Amelia Kyambadde has a power domain here. Then you had Amama Mbabazi here. Then you had Salim Saleh here. Then you have Janet Museveni.
All those were power centers.
Then we start to think Amelia is going down. She's number 6.
Yes. All those were power centers. But some of them were good. For example, like Amama Mbabazi wouldn't bring anybody without telling you. There were some who would tell you, there's this person. You tell the president and we prepare this and this and this and this. At least because he was a public servant, he knew. But there were some who didn't even want me to know. I mean, wouldn't want me to say.
Salim Saleh is a soldier, he's a general. He just
but he was also good. He was also disciplined.
Right.
Saleh is also disciplined.
So who was not disciplined?
It was the challenge. A bit of a challenge was family. Yeah. And I respected family because family was entitled. They're entitled. Yeah. I felt they were entitled. But the others, of course, I would complain. Like Salah would say, yeah, Fandi, this one, now what is it about? And he would explain. Yeah. And even Honorable Mbabazi would ask. But family, it was very difficult to question because they're entitled. They have people who are close to them. They have people who are relatives. So it was, I couldn't challenge that. Yeah.
Because you're in a work position and then their family, so you'd have that. Then, so eventually, when you told him that you'd like to resign because of family, the president said, "I understand now."
No, he kept saying, "Let's talk about it." Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. We went on for about 2 years, and we would raise it. Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll think about it. No, we find a solution to that. If you want to help people, it's easier to help people from here. I said, no, but you have to live with them. Yes. So it went on for some time. And then as we were approaching elections, I wanted to come out the first election before the 210. Yeah. That one failed. I gave up. And then I had to work towards the 210. And at that time, during that period, Twezimbe was doing a lot of things in the constituency. And of course, the politicians were not happy with me. Yeah.
You brought electricity.
That was that.
There was electricity. There were bicycles.
Electricity, bicycles, beds.
Beds.
In maternities.
Yeah. Couldn't you have been charged for bribing?
Well, with the timing, it depends on the timing. You can do it. First of all, as an NGO, you're entitled to do that. Yeah. And my NGO was properly registered, and we're getting support, and I'll declare the support.
That this has been done.
Yes. So that one, it can't be bribing.
And the support
bribing is when you do that during the campaign time. And during the campaign time, I would be very, very careful. And that's how I've managed. So during campaign time, I wouldn't give out anything. Yeah. I wouldn't.
So eventually you resigned from...
Eventually I resigned from State House. and I was given a very good send-off. I was so touched. People had very kind words for me. How I performed. My boss had very kind words for me. Everybody who attended that function. And they made a booklet of my life in State House. And they talked about, they put my relatives. It was a surprise, actually. They put all my relatives in that book magazine. It was a magazine, my life, my parents, everything. I was so touched. I've never forgotten that. So anyway, I was given a good send-off and I went into politics.
Yes, going into politics.
My life in politics.
Elective politics. You're the one of the few people that have had songs for them. Dr. Hildeman singing Amelia. How did that happen? Did you have to pay him?
Dr. Hildeman, first of all, surprised me. He's from our area. He's from Kamengo. And I was surprised one time. Before he even told me, someone told me I'd had a song. I think he leaked it. When he was recording, the person who was recording it leaked it somehow. That someone had a song, and I said about me, Amelia, and Amelia Maokota. And not many people knew I was going into politics. I had kept it a secret. Amelia Maokota, and I said, there's a connection here. So I started looking for Hildeman, and then I realized I knew the parents. And I called Hildeman. And I said, Hildeman, you want to cause problems for me? I'm a public servant. How can you play a song? How can you compose a song about me and my activities in Maokota? I said, but Mom, you've done a lot of things in our area. But still, I don't even want you to think about this song because it's not about you. We've never talked about it. He was very clever the way he termed it. He says, I have my girlfriend in Maokota whom I'm singing about. You can see this is a love song. And I wanted to believe it. But then I had Ololu. Then I said, I sat and challenged him over some of these provisions in the song. And he said, Mom, don't worry about that. This is my song.
In the end, it was useful.
Of course, in the end, it was useful. Then we got together. Then it became, then of course, a proper song. And we worked it out. And of course, I had to.
Peter Claver Mutuluza felt he'd been a real good cadre, NRM person. And at the primary level, he was quite upset by you standing in this NRM safe area.
Yes, after some time, I felt for him.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I must say I was a bit selfish because I thought he had not done enough.
Yeah.
Especially the exposure and experience I found in the area. To find all the hospitals in a mess and schools in a mess and all that, I was a bit angry with him.
Yeah.
And I said, but as a member of parliament, how could he fail to do this? How could he fail to serve these people and all this?
Or maybe you're looking at it
with
the lens of someone who's in State House that can get things done.
Yeah, I was a bit selfish. I thought about it after some time. And with time, after joining politics, and after feeling Kansimi, that's when I realized. Yes, that's when that's when I realized how clever felt.
Yeah.
And I felt sorry.
Have you reached out to him?
Well, I try, but he's still very angry. Yeah, he's still very bitter. But the fact is, he tried, but I think I had access to resources.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yes.
And it can make a difference. So probably that's where the difference is. But I wanted him to use me so much when I was in State House. And I tried to reach out to him when I would bring in these pledges because I had not thought of leaving immediately. I was planning my exit, but not immediately, straight on. So I felt he could use me and we do things together, but he just couldn't listen to it. But naturally, I wouldn't even listen to it if it was now that I'm a politician.
And I'd like us to go to that in the next section, talking about your competitor, Grace Kansime, as well as your party in elections, Dr. Tango Doi. Thank you for continuing with NBS Face Off. Welcome back to NBS Face Off. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke, and my guest this evening is the Honorable Amelia Kyambadde, Minister of Trade, talking about trade and industry. You enumerated the challenges, but a bigger challenge, Honorable Amelia, is that we in Uganda do not feel that you are our Trump. You are not coming out to say, make Uganda great, though you've said buy Ugandan. You seem to have supported Chinese investors who move, we don't know what kind of license they have, because the next day they're mining sand and fighting district officials, and others seem to be doing very well in all sectors. In fact, some writers have written that we seem to be a Chinese economy.
First of all, we must consolidate our synergies in government. Starting with the power centers that I was talking about, you'll find that the power centers are also here. For example, when it comes to sand, mining sand, Minister of Energy will say, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of that because that's extraction
But you
from
give
the
the
ground.
trading license.
No, it's not me. It's Uganda Investment Authority. So the entry point into all investments is Uganda Investment Authority. Uganda Investment Authority works with the relevant ministries. For example, if it is sand, it's an extractive industry, goes straight to Minister of Energy.
Yeah. Presumably
And they permit,
with the district.
And they permit them, and the district. So you find other sectors, for example, airlines, or if you want to start a business in airlines. Yeah. Uganda Investment Authority will give you, but it goes to works. So you find that all these are sectoralized. So all these are centers, but Uganda Investment Authority is key in all this. So all these investors that come in, sometimes Ministry of Trade does not even get to know. Now let me talk about the small traders, small petty foreign traders. We went back and looked at our laws. We had over-liberalized our economy. So when we over-liberalized, we realized actually there's no provision in those laws that says that a foreign trader will not do petty trade. Foreign trader will not do wholesale, will not do supermarkets, will not do this. No. So that's what now we're working with. I introduced this to Cabinet, and I said, no, I'm trying to create provisions in these laws. Let us change our laws so that we create parameters around the liberalization
Some protection
policy.
Some protection for a Ugandan company.
Then another protection is Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, which most people had not understood.
And I want to say, because when you say, what can you buy that's Buy Uganda?
For example,
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge, but apparently what you don't realize is that you have a lot of potential here. We have looked at textiles, and we said all the uniforms that are made here should be made through all the uniforms that are worn by these security organizations must be bought from Nigeria. Before, they're importing from China, from Dubai, from all these other countries. So now, Nigeria started generating some revenue. Cement. When you're going to make these big projects, government projects, for example, like Karuma, or the oil sector and all those, we were ignoring Ugandans, and yet they have good quality cement. Yeah. They have good quality iron and steel. And we're only importing from other countries. The Chinese, in fact, at one point were saying, we want to use the Chinese standards and we want to establish a factory here. And they almost did, but we fought very hard. So now we're saying, use what we have here. The other day I had traders going to Tanzania to buy saucepans, safuria. We have the best quality here in East Africa of safurias. So we are creating this awareness to protect the businesses here. You're saying, do we have the potential? Yes. Yeah. Look at leather. Leather. Animals, if you look, we have 14 heads of cattle in this country, and more are being born. Oh. Now, this is what the statistics I'm talking about are 216, but more are being born. We have goats, 11.5 heads of goats, and we have all these animals. We have fish. We have a lot of potential. Yeah. But once you do not create this protectionism of the companies that are making leather here, you will not be able
the Chinese
to stimulate
will, yes,
the growth of that industry.
Because nearly everything can be produced cheaper in China.
Yes. So out of the 25 million pairs of shoes that we are importing every year, only 1 million is leather. And all the others are fake. Whereas we have the best quality leather here. Then mindset of the people, they beat these animals, their entire hide is gone. They mistreat them, bring them on trucks as their entire hide is gone. So the potential is there. So I'm creating awareness, but I'm also trying to protect what we have. Supermarkets, we used to have only 12% of goods in supermarket, but we are aiming for 40. You're going to ask me, Oscar, what do they have? You have flour, you have even these vegetables. Why do you import fruits from Kenya when we are growing fruits here?
South Africa.
Yes, or South Africa. So you as a Ugandan, what I want from you is standard. Make sure you spray your tomatoes in time. Make sure you spray your mangoes when they're flowering so that you don't have that insect in the middle. Make sure. So this boob will stimulate. And boob is not only Uganda.
Yeah.
America is doing it. South Africa is doing it. Kenya is doing it. Tanzania is doing it. They're protecting their own so that the domestic market is saturated, and then they'll start exporting.
As we get to the end of this face-off evening, I'd like you to look into your party, the NRM party. The recent elections do portray an NRM party in some kind of disarray. And that was really presented very recently with the Yala elections. But I guess that was nothing new, because in the primaries themselves, in some areas in Kampala here, some NRM members were boxing each other. So how do you get the NRM party to grow? How do you get NRM party to recruit some decent people? Because there's an impression now that if you're not thuggish in your nature, you might not be able to box your way into an NRM position.
Yes. I organically grew in NRM. I remember I was UPM, as I said, and in NRM. But I can see that we need to improve in some areas. Number one, we opened up for other parties because we started as NRM alone, and we opened up for other parties. I think we need to step up at our ways of work. Even tolerance. We need to find ways and means of coexisting. Recently, like this ELA, we came together, like UPC and
DP.
Yes. So that is where we need to go, coexistence. Now, NRM, during elections, of course, I must admit there is a bit of infighting. Like in my case, I just didn't want to go very far, but there was actually infighting.
It's a good example.
Yes, mine is a vivid.
At least it wasn't violent.
No, it was not violent, but by the time you empower another one over another, that is also that. But
and a lot of people have said real bad words to Dr. Tango Doi. And because he's bullish, he's been in the media defending himself in a very bullish manner. But it doesn't remove the fact that in terms of elections, NRM is not.
But I think he has managed us also, in a way.
Yes.
He might have his challenges, but NRM, as we have described it, it needed someone to put control on some of the areas. It needs someone to put it in shape.
But where will that come from? Because you've had seminars in Chankwanzia's NRM, and these days you don't seem to have a discussion. You have booings. You have, when the president comes, he lectures the MPs, and we've not seen you having a session building the NRM party and going back to values and ethics.
I think also our chairman has to rebuild trust in us. I think I can see that diminishing, because when you have your partners, you come and guide them. Well, guide could come at the end, but at least try to inculcate values in them, rather than telling them that, you know, this has to be done and this should be like this. I did it because I want to do it. I think also we need
and when he has accused you, the members of parliament, not to commercialize politics, you shouted back at him that he started the business. This was the most recent in parliament.
That one, people are entitled to their observations also, but I think we just have to reduce on the commercialization of politics. We go back to the ideological.
And is it possible, or is it too far gone?
I think what has happened is also blocking the new entrants has also been a problem. Because, for example, like me, I feel we need to bring new entrants on board, like in my area. Because someone could come up with more ideas and all that. But you find that we don't have another generation. We are the same people who have been there. Now, like you said, you're the longest. Really, that's not, I don't know whether it's a compliment or not. But but we need to bring new people on board all the time to take key positions. But you can see he has tried with the parliament.
Yeah. Parliament has a very high turnover. But this is the exact point that Audrey Ravogo has been saying, and he doesn't seem to be popular with a section of the party.
But for me, I appreciate Audrey's views. Because, and it needs someone like him to come out with those issues, because there are many people who share that with him, but they don't have the temerity to come out with them, to come out with those issues and present. They don't have the courage. But I don't think what Ravogo is saying is wrong. I think, in my opinion, because I'm speaking as an individual.
A leader in NRM.
Yes, a leader in NRM.
Yes.
I think
he should be given audience.
He should be given audience, and we should also start looking at those issues. Like I said, I'm feeling that I've served for a long time. Maybe another person could come on. So we need to think about succession.
Succession
yes.
in the party.
Succession in the party and continuity. It's high time we started thinking about it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can drive this country into anarchy.
Honorable Amelia Kyambadde, thank you very much for your appearance on Face Off.
Thank you very much.
It was most enjoyable.
Thank you very much for hosting me.
Yes.
I do appreciate.